All right, nobody wanted it, nobody asked for it, but here it is. Battery chemistry tier list. It's going to be a tier list of all of the best battery chemistries that exist. Now, this isn't going to be a breakdown of different types of batteries, like a AA versus a AAA versus a 9 volt. Those are different sizes of battery that are all the same chemistry. So for two batteries of a given size, uh, this is going to be the differences in those chemistries. Obviously, a bigger battery will be able to supply more current and have more capacity, but of batteries of the same size and weight, this is going to be comparing the different chemistries. Nobody asked, but I do have a degree, a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering from Purdue, Indiana. I've been working with batteries professionally for about 5 years, and I've been building things with batteries for about 10 years. So that's my qualifications. Now, I'm going to add timestamps that'll say like which battery is in which part of it, and I'm going to go in an order that I think seems fairly logical, and you'll get which batteries I'm doing as I go. So I'll start off with a really old one, but a really great one. This is lead acid. Lead acid batteries have a cell voltage of about 2 volts, and they just use sulfuric acid, lead, and lead peroxide as their chemistry. These are really great, just in general. Oh, and as I go through this tier list, I'll talk about the battery first, and then I'll place it in the tier, so it's not like a dead giveaway immediately. So this lead acid battery, they are usually used in cars and uninterruptible power supplies, and usually backups that are used until diesel generators turn on. And in that application, they are phenomenal. They are really good for not being used for a very long time and then suddenly needing to supply a ton of power in a very short period of time. They have low internal resistances. They're very cheap. They're very reliable. So that's why they're used in cars, and they haven't really been replaced in 100 years, is because you could replace them with other battery chemistries. They just wouldn't do it any better, and they would just cost more. So like, what's the point? So specifically, those are the applications that it's really good for. The downsides are they're made of poison. They are just poison on top of poison. They are just made of lead, and in every industry, they're trying to get rid of lead. So, and it's a neurotoxin that just stays in your body forever and just slowly destroys your brain. So, yeah, that kind of holds it back quite a bit. And they can't be cycled a ton. They only have about like 300 cycles before they completely turn into garbage. But refurbishing them is super easy. You just need to replace, like a child in Pakistan can do it, and they do it in their flip flops. So, there are a few cons of this battery. It's toxic, but it's for the cases of just being used for short periods of time and providing good pulse power. They are phenomenal. So I'll put them in A tier because they're really good for just standby power. They're great, top tier. Now I'm going to move on to a battery that is just the worst thing ever. So this battery right here is what is this one? This is alkaline batteries. Ugh. Alkaline batteries are terrible. Alkaline batteries are the disposable batteries that you put in remotes and smoke detectors and all those things. AA's, AAA's, 9 volts. All of those batteries are alkaline batteries, and they are just terrible. They have low cell voltages. They have high internal resistances. They can't supply very much power. You can't recharge them. God, what else do I have on my list? They generate so much e-waste because you just throw them away, or like sometimes people recycle them, but a lot of the time people just throw them away. They are so bad at everything. They are, and the worst part is all of those things exist, but on top of that, they leak. Like, you can leave them in your electronics and they will damage your electronics by leaking acid, or maybe it's not acid, maybe it's a base. But it leaks all over your electronics and destroys them. Not only do they fail at being a battery, they destroy what you put inside of them if you leave them in there for that reason. I don't think they should be completely banned, but we should ban new products from using alkaline batteries because they're just so awful. Like, even if some of the other batteries in this list, even if you just use them, replaced this alkaline battery with a different type of battery and just left it in there forever and didn't recharge it and just threw it away after, it would still be better. The alkaline batteries are terrible. New products should not be designed with them in it. I hate alkaline batteries. F tier should be banned. So this one is the worst one on the list. It's its own tier. It's awful. Okay, so now that one's over, let's move on to a more useful one that's actually good to replace it. Oh, whoops, that is the wrong one. Whoopsie, this is the one. It's an energizer. I was talking about. This is the good one. This one is used to replace that one. Sorry, this was the bad one. I was using the wrong one the whole time. This one right here is nickel metal hydride. Nickel metal hydride batteries, they have a cell voltage that is almost the same as alkaline batteries. So in a lot of applications, they're the same shape and size, and they're just a rechargeable version of the other one. They've got decent energy density. They used to be used in electric cars. This one is the nickel metal hydride. They used to be in electric cars before other chemistries got much better. And they're just rechargeable and cheap and reliable. They're just a much better version of alkaline batteries, and they're not bad batteries in general. They've just they've been overtaken by other battery chemistries. So really what they excel in right now is just replacing alkaline batteries, because they're a drop-in replacement for them. So for that, I'll put it right here in better choices exist. They're mainly just an alkaline replacement, but just for that alone, that puts them in B tier, because these are terrible. Okay, so now that one's over, we'll move on to the GOAT, the battery that is the gold standard. That's this one right here. This is an 186. Actually, no, it's a 21700 cell. This is lithium-ion, which is basically the same as lithium cobalt oxide. This one uses lithium, and it uses cobalt, and uses a graphite electrode. These are just phenomenal. These are great. They've become the standard for everything. If you have a long-range electric car, it pretty much uses lithium cobalt oxide or some type of lithium-ion battery. They have a 3.6 or 3.7 volt cell voltage, which is so high compared to most of the batteries on this list. The lead acid one is 2 volts, and these two alkaline ones are only like 1.5 volts, and this one's like 3.7 nominal. Like, that's so high. And they have good energy density, good power density. Actually, they have the best energy density of any ones on this list. The only thing that really holds them back from being like the best thing ever is that they use cobalt, which is kind of rare, and they use lithium salts, which are not rare, but like they're not like dirt cheap. So for that reason, it's like slightly expensive, but really this is obviously S tier. This is like enabled smartphones and all technology to reach the heights that they have. It's so good. The only thing that really beats it is gasoline in cars. And that's not really a fair comparison, because this delivers electricity directly. So for that reason, it's an obvious S tier. This is the standard to which everything else will be held. So yeah. The next one, this big prismatic cell right here. This one is lithium iron phosphate. Lithium iron phosphate is very similar to lithium cobalt oxide. The only difference is that it uses iron phosphate instead of cobalt, which makes it cheaper. It makes it cheaper, and it also gives it a much longer cycle life. So these batteries can be cycled like 500 to 1,000 times, whereas these could be cycled much longer, like 2,000 plus times. So they have about 4 times the cycle life, which means how many times you can discharge them and recharge them. So if you had these in your phone, then like it would last 4 times longer. But and they're also safer. Like these are hard to break and hard to abuse. They can handle like 60 degrees Celsius no problem. They're really safe and really good. The only thing that keeps them from being the best thing ever, I only have one downside on my list, and that's that they have a lower energy density than the lithium cobalt oxide. That's it. Like these batteries are about 60 to 70% as energy dense as the lithium cobalt oxides. So that's why they're not the best ever. They're just not as energy dense. But in every other way, they excel. They're phenomenal. So those are also an obvious S tier. They're used basically if you want a longest range car possible, use the lithium cobalt oxide. And if you want it cheaper and your batteries to last a little bit longer but have less range, then you use these. These can also be used as a replacement for lead acid batteries in like forklifts and go-karts and golf carts. So these are phenomenal. They're just great. This one has kind of been left in the past. This is nickel cadmium. Nickel cadmium. Back in the day, I remember it being used for radios and power drills and walkie-talkies. It was good. It was good in that it was cheap and it had a low internal resistance, so it could supply a lot of power, a lot of current. It was all around good, but it's been kind of left in the dust. The niche that it filled has been entirely taken over by the two lithiums in the top, lithium iron phosphate and lithium cobalt oxide. So for that reason, these ones are mostly obsolete. I'm going to put it in C tier. They are basically obsolete. If they've been in an old application and you don't want to redesign your thing that already has the nickel cadmium in them, then you can probably leave it in. It's not the end of the world. They're not completely obsolete, but they are completely obsolete, but they're not terrible. They just don't do their job as good as the other ones on this list. So for that reason, it goes in this tier, obsolete. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's just you wouldn't choose it for anything. So it's kind of left in the dust. And one thing that I forgot to mention, that both nickel cadmium and what is this one? Nickel metal hydride. Both of these have one issue which is kind of unique to them, which is called a memory effect. That means that when you charge these, if you discharge them halfway and then recharge them, they can kind of remember it if you kept discharging them halfway and recharging them. So they can remember it and they can actually lose some capacity. So one thing that I remember people doing back in the day, and they might still do this if they still use them, is if you had a radio, you would turn it on and leave it and let it go completely dead. You would let it discharge all the way down to zero, like completely a dead cell, and then you would fully recharge it, and then that would get rid of the memory effect. So you kind of couldn't just like charge them halfway and then discharge them and do whatever with them. You actually had to like fully cycle them from fully charged to fully discharge. Otherwise, they would kind of like freak out and it would mess with them, either damage their capacity or like future cycles would remember it and have lower capacity. So these two on the list, nickel metal hydride and nickel cadmium, both have that memory effect, which is kind of a downside, which is part of the reason why why this one's obsolete and why this one is not a great choice anymore for most applications. The rest of this list still has more lithium. Lithium batteries have really taken over a lot of applications. Now, this chemistry is a mixed bag. It's really good at what it does, but it's got some big downsides. This is LiPo, lithium polymer batteries. These are very similar to these ones up here. These are almost the same, lithium cobalt oxide and lithium polymer batteries. The only real difference is the electrolyte. This one uses like lithium ions, where this one has a polymer electrolyte, and that means that this one usually has a low internal resistance, so it has much more power density. So you can like draw tons and tons, hundreds of amps from these without them having any problems. They're very lightweight. They have good energy density. They have amazing power density. They are all the same benefits as the lithium cobalt oxide, except for they have even lower resistance and they're very lightweight. For that reason, in RC cars and RC planes and electronics drones, these are the preferred choice because they're so lightweight and they could supply so much power so easily. So these are really, really great for RC electronics and drones. Really the best. The one downside that stops these from being an S tier, an absolutely amazing S tier, is the fact that they go supernova if you abuse them. If you charge these wrong, or if you cycle them too many times, or if you puncture them with a sharp object, they will go supernova and they will cause an enormous fire. It actually becomes a flamethrower. Like, it's indistinguishable from a flamethrower. It absolutely just shoots fire everywhere. So for that reason, unfortunately, these ones, you should not build a full electric car out of these unless you want to cause Hiroshima 2.0. These are good at what they do, but you need to respect them and treat them very well and safely. Most of them, when they say charging them, they say like, you should be watching your charger. Do not charge these when you're away from your home. These will burn your house down if you do not treat them respectfully. So for that reason, we put them in A tier. It's a good choice for drones and those small things, but you don't want a really big battery with these because they're dangerous. They are just dangerous, period. Next one. This one is kind of rare. So this one is lithium-titanate. Sometimes it's called LTO. Lithium-titanate batteries. They are the ideal battery in so many things. Okay, so they are similar. They are most similar to the lithium iron phosphate up here. So they're very similar. This one and this one are very similar. This one can supply insane amounts of current. This one has the highest current density of any batteries that exist. They could supply like thousands of amps for relatively small packages. They've got decent energy density. You can really abuse them. You could drive a nail right through this one, unlike the previous one. Unlike the LiPo, these, you can't do anything to make these cause a fire almost. These things are just amazingly safe. And the biggest upside is that these can be cycled thousands of times, many thousands of times. The range is like 20 to 40,000 cycles, which basically means these batteries will last you like 5 years to 20 years. Like, these will last decades. They are amazingly long-lived batteries. They, similar to lead acid batteries, they could be left on standby and then draw tons, hundreds of amps of current. They're really, really great at drawing a lot of current. Very safe, very power dense. The only things that stop these from being the absolute best S tier batteries is that one, they're expensive. They're more expensive than these batteries for the same size, same capacity, same anything. They cost like twice as much. So they're not a great value for cost. And also, the capacity and cell voltage is too low. So this one has a cell voltage of 3.7 volts. This one has a cell voltage of 3.2. This one has a cell voltage of around 2.4, which means this one, if this one is given the standard one, this one has like 60 to 70% the capacity. This one has like 40% of the capacity of this one, which means like I'm going to pay twice as much as this one for like 40% the capacity. That basically means it costs like 4 times as much per unit energy. So for that reason, it's like, I mean, it's great that it basically lasts forever for most of its applications, and it's so safe, but I need 4 times as many batteries. Like, it costs 4 times as much. I really wish, if these were dirt cheap, these would be S tier, but they are not dirt cheap. They're expensive and they have less capacity. So for that reason, unfortunately, I have to put them in B tier because they're better choices. This lithium iron phosphate outperforms LTO batteries across the board because it's just, it's just a better bridge between the lithium cobalt oxide and the lithium titanate. It's just this one performs this one's job better, so it's left behind, unfortunately. If these got cheaper, then they'd be an S tier, but they're expensive, so they're B tier. Okay, now down to the last one on the list. This one is sodium-ion batteries. These ones are very new as of the time of this list being made. Lead acid is like 100 years old. The lithium, all of the lithium batteries on this list are only like 30 or so years old. Nickel cadmium and nickel metal hydride are probably 40 or 50 years old. So, and this one is only like 10 years old at most. The sodium-ion batteries. So the sodium-ion batteries, they don't outperform lithium cobalt oxide, and they don't even outperform lithium iron phosphate. They're basically meant to replace the lithium iron phosphate, basically do the same job as them, have a good long cycle life, be very safe, and have decent energy density. I think they only have a 3 volt nominal voltage. They can be cycled, I don't know, 500 to maybe 2,000 times, like a good cycle life. These will be a good value if they become super duper cheap, because right now they're not super cheap, but they use cheaper chemicals. They don't use lithium, they use sodium, and sodium is much more abundant. So if these became way, way, way cheaper, they would be an S tier. But right now, I'll put the sodium-ion batteries in B tier because they're a wild card right now. They're too new to be cheap, but they're also don't outperform lithium-based batteries. So for that reason, they're in B tier. If they get down to be much cheaper, lithium-ion batteries will be an absolute S tier. But until then, we'll put them in B because they really just aren't developed enough. I haven't seen them in very many applications. So yeah, that's the battery tier list. I think this is a good representation of where the battery industry is at right now. You have lithium ion right here, lithium iron phosphate, lithium cobalt oxide right here, lithium iron phosphate, and lithium polymer is used in some cell phones and drones and laptops, but it's kind of dangerous. Everything else is in a pretty good spot, I think. So that's how it shakes down. If you disagree with this tier list, please let me know in the comments where you would put any of these batteries, what choices you would do to change these. But yeah, that's the stack up.